Hello guys! Today we will have a training video. It's the first video of the series where we will tell you about the basics of the game design. Get yourself comfortable, we start. Unfortunately guys, playing the games it's not the same as creating them. It's really time-consuming process and its main part is creating the documents. If you are not a lone developer and if you even have a small team, it means that you need to have documents on each step of the game development process. You need to assign tasks to each of your team member and you want to make sure that they understand what you want from them and they can do their part of their work. In words, it seems easy, but in fact, it's not the easiest task, especially if you're not mastered the explanation ability. There is no uniform format for the docs, but some points are mandatory for the document. The first doc that we will talk about, let's call it Project Passport. It will contain the basic information about your project, and I will leave the link under the video to the example of this document. You can use it or maybe make a convenient one. In order to describe the importance of this document, I will tell you an example from our previous experience. In early stage of development, we didn't have a single format of the documents. Our ideas was written separately. We quickly put the idea on fingers decided what we have to illustrate and ordered it to our animator. Firstly, we didn't know that we made a mistake, ordered the full set of animation on early stage without any documents. The awareness came later. In the process of working on the project, we found that almost every step of the game have lack of animation. And other animations that we already have is useless and we can't use it in our game, because the idea of the game was changed. First, it slowed down our process on the game, and the second one, it caused the financial damage to our already small budget. We made a mistake, but also we made some conclusion of it, and we started to work with each person, with each document. In addition to the obvious benefits of the document, you will structure your idea and decomposing it to the parts, and it will help to make out the ideas that are weak. Also, it will help you to think systematically, that will help you in further work. Okay, let's have a closer look to the document. When you come up with an idea, you need to describe it, but if this is an interesting mechanic, then you need to come up with a setting for it. Much depends on the name. It must be memorable or describe your game really well. Try not to think up with long or difficult to pronounce names. When you have decided on the name, think over the genre. This is important. You need to formalize yourself from competitors and their decisions, and learn about trends in genre and new ideas too. If something is useful to you, write down the example of how it should be or need to be in your game. Often having run through exciting projects will help you to understand will your idea fly up or not. Also, you can see the work of most mechanic that you will have in your game and understand will it be interesting or not. Do not bypass the stage because it will save you lots of your time and lots of your resources. The next item is features. Feel free to fill as many items as you can think of. But remember, it doesn't matter if you have one item or 10, it doesn't affect the result. Because sometimes even one feature worth the whole game. Try to describe the features in the document as detailed as it possible, so even unfamiliar person will read it through and understand what you mean and what you want to have in the game. The next, describe the story, the plot of your game, if you have it. Here you can do it in a different way. If you don't want to spend time on it or just don't know how to deal with it, feel free to drop it and invent something like Mario, your princess in another castle. If you are a writer from the birth and your intellect is at maximum level, then you will be able to prescribe a good lore, which will add to your fans and their love. But remember that some games don't really require a lore, because sometimes you only need to have a good interest. So save your energy, you will need it in the future steps. Finally, you can proceed to the description of the elements of the game. Try to describe each mob or object that you plan to use in a separate document. Describe what all these characters will do in the game. Returning to the beginning of the video, here we made a mistake. We didn't have animation of deaths and few more. So pay attention and describe all the properties of objects, movements, effects, sounds, everything. If you have a low budget project, review this document several times. Because when you will order the animation, illustration or sounds, it will be cheaper for you to order all the set and do not order something else afterwards. So think one more time what you need. If you also want to save your money, think about how you can use the animation one more time with different enemies. Sometimes you can use one animation in several objects. Just look again on your document, read it through and understand, can you save time of animator and illustrator by using the animation one more time. Then we have mechanics and effects, that is how the player interacts with the game. This item is on the peak of our pyramid importance. If the game mechanics is poorly developed, the game will quickly get bored, and even great graphic won't help you. Try to describe all the ways the player will interact with the game, and in separate document try to write how all the mechanics and all the ideas of the game will be connected and how they will work on overall process. Try not to overcomplicate the mechanics. Try to make your formulas as simple as it could be. Try to think about elegant solution. And remember, the simple solution is the best. As an example, we can cite one of our projects, which is in development stage. We decided to use random generator. But to design a dynamic game in our case became almost impossible. Generator went absurd. Sometimes we have object that we couldn't pass. Sometimes it was terribly boring, giving objects in portion one by one. As a solution, we began to use a complex system of rules, neutralizing the imposition and making it possible to generate more objects. But the code turned out to be complex and often failed. Then we went a different way. Stepping over the desire to create the perfect randomizer, partially placed the objects on the map, giving them the desired properties. But we made several maps, and for each of them several options for placing objects. The generator randomly selects the map, and the random selects her pre-made objects template. So we solved two problems: unload the main generator code, but left randomizers in the game. A further variety of the items will depend on your idea. The last item in our list is player interface. You need to take into account all the possible options you will give to the player. Controls, settings, graphics, sounds, level selection, and so on. Try to make the interface as simple as it could be. Try to put yourself to the place of the player. And try to understand, is it comfortable for you to play this game? Or you need to change something? So guys, I tried to fill you with all the information, with all the experience we have in our previous game, so I hope it was useful for you. So guys, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, to write the comment, and see you in the next video.